Quest, where art thou?
Yo, we are
Hey,
in the B U
yo,
I L.
yo, listen, man.
Yeah,
I'm something's going wrong, right? I cannot.
what's wrong?
It's not going on my regular page, so
It's not.
I just had to click on so many different pages. Like, it's not coming up on my Paul Graham page. It's coming up on my boot camp on my 21 day and whatever, but it's not coming up on my regular one. So
That's
I'm asking
crazy.
everyone that wherever you are, just share it because it's not coming up on my regular stream. It says for me it says an error occurred in Facebook. This is usually temporary. Wait a moment, then try again. I'm like,
Yo,
oh
I
man.
hate when Facebook does the. Yo, remember Carl William them there?
Um,
Yo, me and David was dealing with this same issue this week, bro. I'm tired of them and always switching up stuff, man. And shucks, man. Let me.
and it's not like I didn't hit nothing bad. You know what I mean? I didn't. It just said it's something temporary. So I'm jump. What I've done.
But it can't be that jacked up because it posted to all your other channels.
Yeah, it's posted to all my other channels. So if
What's the other
anybody's
one?
on my any other
21.
channels, just share it. Just share it because the numbers are going up, bro. But it's not going up where I want it to go up.
It was
You
off.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What's it? 21 something?
The other one is Bible Boot Camp.
Oh, let me
You
go to
know,
Bible on
right,
Facebook.
right. Say it again on
On Facebook.
Facebook.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so just go ahead and share. Thank you, Corey. Thank you for sharing, man. Thank you for sharing. I hope I said this name right. Veronique. What a name. Veronique.
Veronique, y'all go on with things.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. So for those who you can go on my page, I just shared it on my other page. So hey, just really, really excited about just chopping it up tonight, bro.
Man, let me tell you something. The sentiments that are about to be expressed are not necessarily those of Dr. Pastor Paul Graham. So you cannot just real quick, because
You better.
you
You
know what I'm
better.
saying. I just want
You
to
better.
real quick. What's up? Yeah, I just, you know what I'm saying. I'm saying?
Ooh,
Every
my
now
dude,
and
my
then,
dude.
I gotta give it to him. You know what I'm saying? I, I can't
Oh,
forget where I'm
listen,
from.
listen.
Yep.
Always, you
Mm.
hear me? Always, always, always. Those guys are just
Yeah,
for
man.
me, for
Shouts out,
me,
shouts out to
amazing.
Kamal, man. AKA John Davis. You know
Yeah.
Kamal Fareed. He got his honorary doctorate the other day. So yeah, man. Shouts
Really?
out to him. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
From where? From where?
yeah. What's the university? Berkeley, Berkeley School of Music. Yeah,
Ooh, that's nice, man. That's nice. You
yeah.
know,
It's nice.
speaking of issues, man, I'm going to tell you this, man to man. I hear a lot of people talking about this, that, and the other. Man
Yeah,
to man, I'm really saddened that
yeah,
my man's, doctorate was revoked from him
yeah.
from Howard University, and then they gave him back 1 million. That's, I'm saying that hurts. It's not something that's that we should be smiling about, man. That hurts.
Here's the thing about it. When you get to certain places and spaces, you got to know who you are and whose you are. I
Wow.
ain't gonna lie to you, P. You said to me one time, you said, Q, I hate it, but I love it in the same sense that you chose what you chose because you could have been. And I believe without a shadow of a doubt, because for those who don't know, like I used to be neck deep in the music biz. Like I used to be on the road with Tribe. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
when me and Malik, when him at the tip broke up for a minute, I was on the road with Malik. You know what I'm saying? Me and Kurt.
Yeah.
And looking back and you hearing these stories, I can remember instances of places and spaces where I was in. I was like, yo, they wilding these hip hop heads and they doing that. They wilding. Hey, but you kind of blow it off like you never really pay no attention to it. And it's not until now where God was protecting and keeping us throughout the whole thing and we didn't even know, bruh.
Yo, listen, man. I really believe that one of the biggest things that God has done in all of our lives is the covering.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm really big on the covering. He's always taking time to cover individuals, man, and us, especially as men. We make so many errors. The stuff that come out of our mouths, the way we look at an individual, the way we respond to people, man. We make so many errors that God is always in the business of, of covering. He's always covering, man. So I'm really glad about that, man. Hey, I want to just say this to you.
Mhm.
I love the whole mindset of unscripted.
Yeah, bruh.
I'm really feeling that, man. I'm really feeling the fact that we have that opportunity to just chop it up about. I'm not going to say about nothing because we always there's always something, man.
Well, here's the thing. That's why these conversations are important, especially for dudes like you, man. Like, who is your circle of influence? Like, nobody ain't saying like this is not fresh, this ain't fly. Like,
Right.
this going all the things that you worked. Like, I saw this documentary on Netflix that said the downfall of Diddy. And I was like, they got documentaries out already, and my man hasn't
Yes.
even gone to court. And of
Court
course,
yet.
here's the funny thing though, we see the film clips that are popping up all over the place and stuff. But that's the reason why these conversations are important, Pete,
Yeah.
because we speak conversations that your average black man needs to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, who in your circle is having these conversations? So it's only right. What right in the sense that if Howard University, which is one of our number one HBCUs,
Yeah.
if they are in line with integrity and character and morals and all of this other thing, because certain instances they'll be like, all right, we're taking our degree back, but they won't give back the million. They're like, nope, we're giving you back your million. We're cutting all
Yeah.
ties and all the other projects that we have.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we're taking back our honorary. Why? Because that can hurt the legacy of Howard. Because people gonna start, you know how we are. We're gonna start asking questions. Well, remember when that whole Diddy thing jumped off? Y'all gave him a
Yep.
degree. Y'all
Right. Right.
stayed
Right.
in business with my man. So how can we rehold you serious, right? Or even take you serious when we know you still sleeping with my man in the back room? No
Yeah.
Diddy.
Yeah, man. Listen. Let me tell you something, man. It's a little bit scary, right? Because let me. I know you talk about the pew, right? I mean, you talk about the pew, But
Yep.
let me talk about the pulpit a little bit, right?
Yep. Yep.
What you just said was straight pew behavior, and and I get it. I get it that these things have to happen. In my private conversations with you, one of the things I talk about is my anxiety of being a pastor and having to live a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Have to live my life a certain way, and it's stressful. It can be really stressful. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not with no man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not forcing other people to do this, that, or the other, or I'm not. Well, I can't beat my wife because she'll beat me back. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Ah,
Straight done.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
fact of the matter is that um the circle of influence is big. Remember we talked about last week, man, when I simply said if I had the opportunity
yeah,
of having my men's around me all the time, and we can't have our men's around you all the time, but if you had the opportunity of having your men's around you all the time, and you know why I say it like that, because that's how my wife loves this group, man. From Queens, man. Come on, man. This group from Queens.
oh,
Uh,
not tribe. It can't be
no,
tribe.
sir. No, sir. And they go,
Qu-
my man's.
Uh, uh, uh,
She
uh,
just shouted from upstairs, Lost
Lost
Boys.
Boys. Oh yeah.
Lost Boys. And when they talk about the men's, they talk about the people that they hang with, the
Yep.
people that they run with. I feel like if I had the opportunity of running constantly or having my people around me constantly, I make less mistakes. I'm not talking about my wife. I'm not talking about my kids. I'm not talking about the church. I'm talking about people that will hold you accountable.
Yeah,
You
bro.
understand where I'm coming from? And I
Yeah,
think
bro.
that that's a very big deal. Hold up. Shout out to Dwayne Wood. My man, shout out to Dwayne Wood. I believe Huntsville right now, living in Huntsville from New York. Good to see you, man.
I love
Good to
it.
see you.
I love
Yeah,
it.
man.
Yep.
So we're gonna ask you right now. We're not on my page, on my Facebook page. Something went wrong with my Facebook page, but I'm looking at the numbers climbing. So you're looking at you're on different places and different spaces. If there's anyone who want to chime in or whatever, what do you think about how do men should men be held accountable for their behavior, and how can they be held accountable? And I'm going to say this from the pulpit side: all have sinned, right? All have fallen short of the glory of God. All have messed up. But
Mhm.
I gotta say this, that I think that what's beautiful about being held accountable is repairing.
Yep.
It's repairing.
Yep.
You know, you know,
So
it's repairing.
so there's two incidents, right? I'm watching your boy, and I think he's hell bent on destroying. Like my man is hell bent. Like he released this thing now about Will Smith and how Will Smith needs to talk to the community. I'm like, man, he's apologized to all the people that he needs to apologize to, giving back the awards that he needed to give back the awards to. Sitting in silence and like for real, you might see him on, but he's out like in like with people or not in the regular scenes that you would normally see him in. And of all the times that you could have said something about him or to him, you doing it while his movie just released. And I
Right,
can't help but think like what kind of backdoor forces are working and you being a pawn in the middle of this, like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like of all people anyway who should be commenting on anything, stick with sports, homie. Stick with sports. Like don't come over. It was funny because every comment that I read, you need to be worried about that hairline. You need to, you know what I'm saying? Like those are the comments. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like
yeah,
the people will tell you, they're like, yo, what more you want from the man? Like, and I don't know that Diddy has necessarily gone down through there yet. Because when we talk about accountability, like I think my man was trying to, he knew what was coming, and you know, he started copping a plea or two on social media, and I do believe that he should have, like for real, it's not necessarily the punishment; it's what comes along with when you make these decisions. But
yeah,
there's
yep. Mm.
yeah, there's a humility period I believe that he's gonna have to go through before he gets back to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen, I think the humility period should be between him and his family, between him and his own, right? I think that one of the craziest things, especially when you live in a life that everybody sees, is that, I gave you a call a couple of months ago. I said, hey, man, I'm going through something right now, or what have you. And I think what's
Mhm,
beautiful is going through something with, uh, in your, that you're taking care of in your own home,
mhm,
not the world knowing this, not the world knowing that, not the world knowing the other. And I think it's easier for a man or anybody, right? Anybody who has done something wrong to be able to repair, right, without being beaten down. I was watching Archie Bunker. I was watching Archie Bunker the other day. Right? Well, today I was watching Archie Bunker with my wife. Right.
Mhm.
Plus, it is the most racist show I've ever seen in my life, sir. I'm telling you, I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
even bugging. It is the most racist, and I'm sitting there laughing, and my wife is like, "Yo, what's that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him and the Jeffersons. I'm talking about when they were living next
Yep.
door to each other,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And the daughter was in this. The daughter was upset with the mother because she said that you never stand up to dad. You never stand up to dad or this, that, and the
Mm.
other. And she says, don't you ever felt like you never felt like hitting dad? You never felt like getting on him or whatever? And she said, there was a time that your father came home and he was drunk and he lost his paycheck, right? She said, I wanted to hit him, but I didn't because you shouldn't hit a man when he's down.
Wow.
Yo, listen, man. When she said that, I did not, I wanted to hit your father, but I didn't do it because he was already down. You never hit a man when he's down. And I think I shared this with you a couple of weeks back, maybe 2 weeks ago or whatever, that one thing that I appreciate about mine, right? She's gonna find a time to have a conversation. Remember we talked about that? She's
Yep.
gonna find a time to have a conversation,
Yep.
but she's not gonna have the conversation while I'm down.
That's great.
You understand where I'm coming from?
That's
And
great.
and but she will have the conversation. And I think that it's really important. I think it's really important that there's a level of accountability. Let's look what my man Corey says. You see that right there? What he said there?
Yeah, I believe we need to be held accountable. Honestly, as a young man, even in church, there's a lack of community that I can be vulnerable and get authentic support and guidance.
Wow. Authentic. Yo, I mean, I'm gonna ask you a question, right? And you could beat me up if you want to. Before divorce, right? I'm talking about before divorce,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Do you feel like if you had um community that
Hmm.
that it would have, I'm not saying it would have saved your marriage, but would there have been a difference? Or did you have community during that time?
We had community, but not the kind of community that I needed the most at that time.
Wow.
Um, I believe um, I don't know if it would have necessarily changed who or how it turned out, because people have a choice of embracing what is good in terms of information or not.
Mhm.
But I do believe it would have helped me in terms of my decision making.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
that in turn may have, I don't know what it would have done, because once again, I knew where I was in the path that I was on. It just seemed like, yeah, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother.
But
All right.
I can speak for me. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't speak for the other individual because their
Right.
behavior just wasn't. And I was like, yep, nope, it ain't gonna be me. I tell you that.
I
So
hear you. I hear you. Yo, I look at what Corey just said.
yeah,
Authentic support and guidance. A lot of times we think that that authentic support and guidance is a Bible thing.
you
You know
know,
what I mean? And a spiritual thing. I think one of the biggest issues we have, Quest, I'm gonna tell you right now, is that
mhm,
we don't have enough people who have failed and came back and said they failed.
that's the part. This is the
It's
reason.
experiential. It's experiential that we're not getting. You understand where I'm coming from? And
Even worse if you came from the West Indies, because nobody make nobody know your business and
you,
don't son. Yo,
man,
are you kidding me? So
yeah,
hence one of the reasons why, like, I'm super transparent as it relates to the marriage and stuff, because I need you to know, if I don't tell you I've been here, number one, you're gonna be looking at the story side eye, like, how is he talking like
mm,
this? But when I tell you that I've been to where I've been, to hell and back, and still talking like this, you're like, okay, you might have some answers to, but that's the reason why, because so
yeah,
you'll feel like you're not alone in what I've done it too. So yeah, man.
yeah. Last week when we were talking about your daughter being
Yeah.
pregnant,
Yep.
right? I'm gonna
Yep.
say, if I'm not talking about pregnant, when
Yep.
that she's with child, you know what I'm saying? That many people would have lost their minds.
Yeah.
They would have lost their minds. And when I think about this, right, and I got to tell you some of the things that really hit me. One of the things that I thought about was the very fact that, in a couple of months, my daughter's gonna be 21. So, there's a big what if.
bro.
There's always a what if. You can't vouch for your kids, bro.
No, you can't. And that's the thing. Like even when my daughter, she tried to make the move to go. She was like, "I thought you were going to kick me out." I was like, "Kick you out for what?" Have I ever? But of course, that's how she used to that with her moms. Like they get into it, they lock horns, get out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
It's that kind of
mhm.
thing.
Wow.
I was like, have I ever? Matter of fact, whenever you've gotten into whatever you've gotten into, what has been my response? You know what I'm saying? When certain things
Right.
happen, how much is this going to cost me? Da, da, da. All right, let's go. Like for real, because if I don't, then what's going to happen? One of the first mistakes my daughter made is like just learning through life. I told her just make sure you stay on top of your business. One year, she decided she wanted to purchase this car. Okay, cool. Oh no, daddy. I said I got you on your down payment. You take care of your month. No, no, no. I want to do this all on my own.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Is it okay?
All right. She's hell bent on doing it. All right, good. She
Right.
goes ahead and does it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, After she did good the first year, second year rolled around, and one weekend I came home and she was home and her car wasn't there, and I was like, "Where's your car?" She was like, "I need to tell you something, and you're gonna be angry." I said, "What?" She said, and I kind of figured she was like, either she got in an accident. She's like, it got I think it's repossessed.
Repo.
You
Right.
you
Right.
you think it's repoed?
You,
I said, you think?
you
Right. So
think?
I said, did you make last month's car payment? She was like, no. I said, okay. So I know that they're not going to do that unless it's 3 or more payments.
Right.
So I
Right.
was like,
Right.
first
Right.
and foremost, why are you waiting to tell me just now, 3 months later? I said, you know what? That's not even helping the situation right now. How much does it cost to get your car back? She told me. I was like, it's funny how a $300 problem turned into a $1,500 problem.
Yeah,
And
that's
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
true. That's true. That's true.
So,
Because,
so
but somewhere down the line, you got to ask yourself the question. I'm sorry, Quest,
no,
but you
no,
got to
no.
ask yourself the question: what did I do that made you feel like I couldn't come to you?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? What did
That's
I
it.
say that made you
That's it.
think that you couldn't come to me? You know what I'm saying? And you think that's crazy with children. The truth of the matter is, man, that's crazy in marriage.
I was just about to say they get it from us.
Yeah. Can faith, right? And you complete the fifth because can faith, and for everybody who's watching, faith is Quest's wife. Can faith trust you enough to come to you with anything?
She can.
Just like your daughter had to come to you with that or with anything else. Your boys would have to do that one day, come to you with anything. The thing is, part of the generational curses is that we build up walls
Yep.
between the ones we love, and they can't come to us with anything. You
Yep.
see where I'm coming from? Until, for you in your case, until they're at rock bottom.
So the old me, she probably couldn't trust, but the person that's creating this new track record, she can probably trust because my whole goal for every year is to become a little bit more healthier than I was the year before. And I
Mm,
think she can trust me in this season of who I am as a person. And some people like this is not the first time we had this. What if she cheated on you?
mm.
And I'd be like, we have to have. Will I be mad? Yeah. Will I feel all the feelings? Yeah. But we
Yeah.
got to sit down and talk.
Right.
Why? Because people think that cheating is just a one person thing.
Right. Right.
What did I do or not do that pushed you to the point where you had to go and seek
Yo,
refuge?
isn't it amazing
Or
what you just said?
yeah.
What you just said just now, man, you got me taking my glasses off, right?
And Pete, and I'm not saying that from a low self-esteem. I'm very
No,
confident in who I am because most
right.
people be like, what did she do to you to make you talk like that? No, it's not. It's
Wink, blink twice, blink
yeah,
twice.
you know what I'm saying. If you okay, you know what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
no, no, no. The truth of the matter is that whether we realize it or not, if you get a plant that plant has needs. It needs water, it needs sunlight, it needs proper nutrients in order for it to continue. I go to people's house who say they like plants and the leaves brown out. You better cut that off. You're gonna ruin the plant. Cut
Wow,
that off.
wow,
You say you
wow.
got a green thumb and all your plants looking like they out of here. You
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
me?
yeah.
Why? And those are just signs of negligence.
So do you feel as a man, if our wives go out there, right, that it could be a level of negligence on our end?
It could be. And a large portion of the time it is because women are not even wired that way. Okay,
Mm.
in order to get to a woman's, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You
Ting
gotta
there.
you gotta connect through here first.
Here, the heart. Yeah.
When you connect here, the floodgates open up. With the men, it's different. You want him to talk more, ladies? Break him off,
Break them off.
and then
And
you
then
can't
and
get
then
that.
wake him up. And then wake him up.
And you can't get that joker to shut up. You feel me? Right. So they God knew what he was doing when he made them like this, and they're interdependent on. So if she really gets herself to, unless she's really like broken, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
In most cases, if she gets up and cheats, it's because there was a need that went far too long without being met. So now you got to sit down and have a conversation. In what way did you neglect this woman to the point where she found? Because I guarantee you, when a dude do it, if a girl let him, he right off the rip. We don't need
Right,
no conversation. We don't need none of that. He just gonna smash. With a
right.
woman, if she going
It's
through marital problems, the first response gonna be like, "Boy, going, I ain't got no time for you." And every day they meeting at the water cooler, girlfriend, man, the outfit is looking so nice, and it's like a day before you know it. Conversations at the water cooler become
right.
conversations at lunch.
Wow.
Before
Wow.
conversations at lunch, they now become conversations at dinner. And then
Mm.
conversations from dinner, you waking up the next morning in the hotel room like, what did
Wow.
we do?
What did we do?
All because the need went far too long without being met.
And the need doesn't have to be sexual.
Nah, it don't.
In fact, that's not even what you're saying. The need
No,
is intimacy.
that's it. That's it. And intimacy comes in many different forms, not just physical. I just need you to sit here and feel like I'm connected to you while we watch this television show. Can we
Mm.
go for a walk and hold hands?
Wow.
Can we
Wow.
go down by the pond with a bottle of lemonade and a cooler and just enjoy each other's company?
Can it just lemonade? I'm just
Just
asking.
lemonade,
Just
B. Just
lemonade. Just
lemonade.
lemonade.
Just not lemonade. Well, at least for Faith. Faith like her wine. You know what I'm
So, hey,
saying?
hey, hey, listen. I can't say much because you know because mine come with a license to
You know
pastor.
what I'm
You know,
saying? Real talk. Real talk. So
no, no
whatever,
doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
if I don't feel the intimacy, what are we doing?
Dig
I
it.
I keep telling people marriage requires love. Love requires commit. Well, I used to say commitment. I now say covenant. And covenant
Mm.
requires abandoning all exit strategies. So we're gonna do one
See,
or
well,
two
no, no, no,
things.
no, no, no. You can't hold on a second, bro. You can't be, you can't be, you can't be throwing a gem and then pick it up and run. Let's
So
marinate on that. Let's marinate on that. Go ahead again.
marriage requires love.
Right.
Love requires covenant. I used to say commitment, but what happens when you don't fit the commitment no more? You're gonna want to bounce.
Mm, mm.
So I say covenant because that's a whole nother hookup. Marriage
Yeah.
requires love. Love requires covenant. Covenant requires abandoning all exit strategies.
Abandoning all exit strategies, which means then, right? Which means then, if
It basically is not an option.
well, that's what I'm saying. Because when you talk about divorce,
Yeah.
right? When
Yeah.
you talk about divorce, we then start talking about you have abandoned
Yeah.
all of the exit strategies.
Yeah. You remember when your girl, um, yeah, as you say that word abandoned, your girl, who's Biggie's wife?
Faith?
Faith
Yeah.
Evans.
Right.
Remember the song? You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore.
Anymore. Love don't live here anymore. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You throwing that up.
Mhm.
I tell you this right now, and I think what's really crazy is what you just brought to the table. And
Yeah.
what you just brought to the table was the very fact that if something should happen
Mm-hmm.
inside of, I'm just saying, inside of my marriage or whatever,
Yep.
in anybody's marriage, will a man be able to say, I need I need to talk to see where did I go wrong?
Yeah. I need to see that. What did I
But
do?
yeah, but here it is. If she's able to tell him what he did wrong, can 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 he repair that? You know where I am this whole since you know where I've been since March.
Yeah.
Home repairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's I'm on home repairs,
Yep. That's it.
right?
That's
Okay.
it.
And if you're gonna repair, right? Somewhere the ego got to say, all right, if somebody was with my wife, if somebody was doing so and so, and I find out that I wasn't holding her hand, I wasn't talking to her, I wasn't walking with her, I wasn't asking her how was her day, so and so, whatever. And she's acquiring, I want you to hear this, right? She's acquiring a work husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? And he's providing all of that. Do I now say, okay, well, how do I remedy that instead of being all mad about the physical? You understand where I'm coming from? Um, I'm not trying to say that the physical is not important to me, but the truth of the matter is that if I am making the error, right, in watering and taking care of, the intimacy into me, see, right, then I'm at fault,
So
right?
so what's the you and Mary, how long is the drive from where you are to DC?
20 minutes,
20 minutes.
no
Let's say you
traffic, 20 minutes.
let's say you got under quarter of gas. You going to try to make that run?
Oh snap!
Let's say let no, you know what, a matter of fact, let's say traffic is there. Because marriage, there's a lot of interference sometimes. It's not
Okay,
always a straight route from one place to another. Sometimes stuff is happening that kind of holds you in a holding pattern. That's the equivalent to traffic. Let's say traffic, 20 minutes is not 20 minutes no more. How long is that
wow,
drive?
could be an hour, bro.
You going to take that chance under a quarter tank of gas?
Some people do.
Yeah. And I feel sorry for them because there's nothing worse than being on the side of the road in bumper to bumper traffic.
You're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then people honking and upset at you because you're in the way. So
Yeah.
maybe the truth of the matter is when it comes to the marriage, many of
Yeah.
us are in the way.
Yeah. There's a million and different ways we can look at this. Are we mad at the car because the car ran out of gas? Or are we mad at
Oh,
ourselves because we didn't fill the tank?
okay. Stop it. I hear you. All right.
You,
Tired of
but you
talking
see
to
what
you.
you see
No,
what
I'm
I'm
tired of
saying?
talking to you sometimes. I'm tired of, I don't, I'm tired of
but
talking to you
but it's
sometimes,
not
man.
just you, it's me too. Like I get this all the time, and then every now and then, because I love what I do, especially when I get to go and talk to people. I'm a flamingo. I'm a flight attendant, bro. I
I hear you,
promise you.
baby.
I
Yeah.
love it. You know what I'm saying? Interacting with people, like it's the same thing. We like for real. We social butterflies. What you gonna do? But I realize that my wife is not, and I have to be able to take time sometimes. Okay, sometimes life, hear the people say they get burnt out in their relationship. They're not getting burnt out. What's
What's your,
happening is life is pulling them in so many different directions that they forgot why they doing what they doing in the first place, right? And that's what
mm,
caused the feeling of burnout, right? And so I realized that there has to be balance. If I don't whenever I give Faith what she needs, bro, and her love tank is on full, brother, I could do whatever.
yo, I
And
heard a
it's not
dude,
that it's not that I want to do anything apart from her, but it gives
right,
me freedom to be able to do what I love to do and make sure
right.
she's taken. Come on, man.
Because she trusts that whatever you do, you're doing, even if she's not there, it includes her. Definitely includes her.
I ain't never in a
Man,
place that she's not physically there that her name don't come out my mouth. Who's Faith? Oh, that's my wife.
dig it. Dig it.
I'm a Levite, bro. God got to keep me in the ministry just to make
You
sure.
better keep-
Because if I'm not in the ministry, I'm murdering.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Listen to me, bro. I'm telling
You
you,
feel me?
I believe, I have no problem saying this, man. I believe that God has me in the ministry to keep me somewhere.
Yeah.
I
We
mean, just to
Levites,
keep me
bro.
with Levites. You're right.
It's
You're right. You
funny
know what?
because
I was talking to somebody the other day, something that I learned from you the other day, man.
mm,
Um, I think we spend a lot of time preaching to our brethren that we got to be priests, right? Stay with me for a second.
mm-hmm, I'm
Hmm.
with you.
That we got to be priests. I think that we spend a lot of time trying to be priests that we don't spend enough time trying to be shepherds.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got that from the conversation the other day concerning your daughter,
Corey is funny.
I, I realized, man,
Mhm.
um, it's tough to be a priest,
Bruh,
but
bruh,
it's our nature to be a shepherd.
bruh. And that I showed it to you the other day. That's what I gotta learn to become now.
I'm gonna do a word study and find and see if there's anything in the Bible that says that I'm the priest of my house. I'm the priest of this. I'm a priest of so and so, whatever. Right? I just want to do a word study on that because I'm
Please.
wondering. Go ahead.
Because there are some things that are traditional that we turn into word and it's not necessarily word.
But God has called every man to be a shepherd.
Sir.
I mean, every man, even if he doesn't have a family, he's still a shepherd.
Yes, sir.
He's a shepherd in his community. Even in fact, Christ was talking to the men when he said, "You need to take care of the widows. You need to make sure that they're not hungry." Remember,
That's it.
if you got resources, it belong to to everyone belongs to you. You're a shepherd, and I truly believe that I'm more stressed being a priest. I'm less stressed being a
Being a
shepherd.
shepherd.
Yeah.
Prime example. There's a mother at our church, man. I love the woman more than anything. And she was getting in the car one Sabbath and it was hot. And
Mhm.
I was like, Ma, roll the window down and start the car so the AC can go. She was like, the car doesn't have any AC. I said, what? Elderly, this is a mother of the church. And I'm like, your car don't do what? She said,
Mhm.
it don't have no. I called my boy who is a mechanic at the church, and I
Yeah.
called three other elders. I said, yo, sister so and so need this done. This is the cost. I got 150 on it. He's like, yep, I
Yeah.
got another
I
150.
got.
We
I
got
got. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
within a week, my girl had AC back in the car.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Shepherding.
that's the epitome of who we supposed to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, without the
Mhm.
accolades.
Yeah. We could care less. All I want to know is that when
Absolutely.
this lady, this elderly lady, if anybody who live in the South, yeah,
Pa, pa,
the
pa,
heat,
pa.
yo,
Yeah.
the heat is different down here, bro.
I hear you. I hear you.
You feel
I
me? And
hear
there's
you.
no way we can have her rolling around, coming to church every Sabbath, for everywhere else she go. My man went over there, handled his business. I said, appreciate you. Yep.
Ah, ah, ah. Yo, listen, man. I wonder really, like, if there's any gentlemen on right now,
Hmm.
what would you do? You think it's easier being a shepherd, or do you think it's easier being a priest?
You know
Or
what?
if there's any ladies listening to right now, just here's a question. Here's another question. Would you rather have? Would you rather have a priest, or do you rather have a shepherd? All right. So
That's
anybody's on right. Look at the amount of people that's on right now. Wow. So I'm asking the question right now. If what would you rather have? I know some of you may be saying I want both, right? We're not talking about both right now because both are good. Both are good. The question is, what would you rather have? What
yeah,
do you need? And what would you rather have? A shepherd or a priest? And I know both are good. All right. I know both are good. What's your thought on that, first of all, before anybody else's they start chiming in?
yeah. I'll say this from being having to be both. It's
Okay.
it's 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 easier to, like you said, be the shepherd it's difficult to be the priest because the priest tells you what's right, wrong, and indifferent.
Mm.
And that's not an easy thing to do. I love you, but what do I do when I love you and we got good relationship, but I gotta rebuke you or reprimand you for, you know what I'm saying? From a
Yeah, yeah.
family. Now, I don't reprimand my wife, but I do like from time to time say some things and she may not necessarily rock with it. And I
Okay.
tell her, listen, you have every right to choose what you want to choose, but I just leave you with the thought, like when you make that decision, how is it going to affect the rest of the family?
Well, sometimes I think that, let me tell you something. I think that wives, I'm going to wives now. I ain't talking about girlfriends, right?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
I think, man, to a great degree, wives make us better shepherds. They make us better shepherds. Um, uh, they're the ones I feel like carry the rod.
When it comes to us.
Let me share something with you, man. And I know folks are gonna be upset, man. Do you
Yeah.
know that statement that says "spare the rod and
And
spoil the
spoil.
child"?
Is it spare not the rod or spare the rod?
If you spare,
If you spare not the rod, like if you don't spare it, you'll spoil the child. But if you spare the
well,
rod,
if you don't
then
beat them with it,
yeah,
if you don't use it,
yeah,
they're gonna
they
be
will
spoiled.
spoil. They're gonna be
Okay,
spoiled.
all this time, man, we were raised to believe that that meant to get a spanking or a beating. A rod is what's used. Is not a beating stick.
Mm-mm.
The
Especially,
rod
yep,
is a especially with, exactly. It's a guiding stick.
yeah. Push them back in line.
That's right. Not beat him back in line.
Yeah.
It's you understand where I'm coming from, and I
Although
think that
some of these kids need licks, though. Some of them need
yeah,
licks
yeah,
for real.
yeah. Listen, yo, I don't know anything about licks. I know about beating. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
if I see you jumping on the pew, you need a beating.
You need a beating.
A beating.
So again, I'm
Yeah.
just put it out there, ladies. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a um? Would you rather have what was it a shepherd, or
Yeah.
would you rather have a sheep? Sorry, a shepherd
A priest,
or a priest or a priest.
a shepherd, or a priest. You probably could see. You could see all the chats. I only could see the one.
See, my son just called me.
Uh-huh.
I said, man, you got to text me. He said, okay. He's gonna ask me for something. Should I shepherd him or priest him? You know what
Shepherd, shepherd, shepherd. And I'm learning. Yo, it's such a man. My sons make some decisions sometimes, and I'm always fighting between the priest and the shepherd, and I usually lean more to the priest than I do to the shepherd, and I got to stop doing that. You know what I mean? I don't want them to resent me while I'm still maintaining the standard. Because sometimes children want to buck the system, they want to buck the standard. And I have to have enough shepherd in me to balance out the priest. Because the priest will, the priest don't waste no time. They'll rebuke
right.
you and rebuke you bodily.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yo, you don't remember what the Levites did? These is the worshipers. Yo, you break covenant, we'll kill you.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yo, I don't know if you remember this. You remember this guy we used to have? Not a guy. I'm sorry. A pastor. His name was Pastor Roy Ashmead. You remember Roy Ashmead?
Oh, come on, bruh.
Listen, man. Yo, that guy was no joke. You hear
Son, he
me?
was at Bethel. He was at when he at Bethel?
He was at Bethel. He was at Linden. He was
Yep.
at City Tab. He was at
Yep.
Brooklyn Temple.
Yep.
This cat will take you out like this. Yeah, you understand where I'm coming from? And I think that what messes us up as not shepherds but as priests
Mhm.
is that we don't lead with the word. If we led with the, that's why we're supposed to be priests. The reason why we're supposed to be priests is because we're supposed to be leading with the word, leading with prayer. You understand where I'm coming from? But the shepherd is the one that's leading by example, by example. And I think, man, you know,
Ooh, I heard the Holy Spirit say it.
go ahead.
It's the difference between positional leadership and servant leadership.
Ooh, positional leadership.
And servant leadership. Positional leadership leads with position and power. Servant leadership leads with serving the needs, serving
Yeah.
what you need in order to become, you know what I mean? In order to
Okay.
become greater, in order to become
Okay.
better.
All right. Gem dropping again. Gem dropping again.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. I got you. Man, I really believe. I really believe. Wow, Mike just put this joint out there. That's what he said. Go ahead, hit that.
It's easier to shepherd as we are brought up to protect, guide, and direct. To be a priest takes shepherding to another level as it adds the spiritual peace and requires us to be more like the shepherd. Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to be like the shepherd, man. I'm someone gonna kick somebody's behind all over the place.
Bruh.
It's hard to be a shepherd. Sometimes you want to cut somebody out. It's hard to be shepherd when you still got habits that you're dealing with. It's hard to be. I'm just saying. It's hard to be a shepherd when you've seen dad, granddad, uncle, so and so, whatever, do certain things, and
Mm.
you can't even get that out of your system. Oh, there we go again. There we go again. Right there we go again.
Oh, there it is.
There we
Sins of the
there we go
family.
again. So here it is. We got to be that shepherd, and
Man.
then got to be that priest. That's a lot of that's a lot.
It's
And
a
I
whole
think
lot.
more women. I wonder if more women are attracted to priests or if they're attracted to shepherds.
Mm.
That's again. I'm wondering if women are more attracted to priests or they're attracted to shepherds because a woman
I
loves a man that leads, but they also love a man that loves God.
I think women love.
Man, you
I
quiet,
think they
bro.
like.
I
I
have
think
never, I have never seen you
that
pause that long
uh,
before.
because I think they like a combination of the two. I think they love the wisdom of the priest, but they love the execution of the shepherd.
Oh, the wisdom of the priest
Yep, but
and
they
the
love, yeah, the not whatever that is, the information, the knowledge, the wisdom, they love that of the priest, but they love the execution of the shepherd.
wow, wow. Okay, okay, my dude. You
Yep.
talking now? You talking?
He said
You talking?
priestly shepherds. Yep. 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 Because I don't know if you can shepherd properly if you don't have the information of the priest.
Wow, wow. My man said we got to be priestly shepherds.
That's why I'm saying it, because I saw Mike say it. And as
Mm.
I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, you could shepherd, but what happens if you don't? Because once again, the shepherd has is the balance.
All right.
He
So
knows
what
how to
happens?
apply.
Okay. So what happens when you have an individual? I'm going to say this to you. What
Yeah.
happens when you have a wife that doesn't want to be shepherded?
Ooh, then she don't want to be married.
Oh,
I mean, let's look at the how God constructed relationship. Let's look at how He constructed marriage,
okay.
right? And when we say a wife that doesn't want to be shepherd, I want anybody that's listening. Let me put the disclaimer on it, even though I don't think that I need to, but I'm going to put it on there anyway. I do not mean that in a chauvinistic way. There's a structure. There's a standard to how the family is created, right? God first, spouse second, kids third, whatever else you have after that, right?
Work, even
Yes,
church, even
yes,
church.
yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there are some specific ways that a husband is supposed to behave and some specific ways that a wife needs to behave. And if she does
Okay.
not want to be shepherded, then do not get married. If we are priestly shepherds, that's why we are we have all of these mantras and things that we like to say and attach all of these titles. A husband is supposed to be a prophet, priest, king, provider, all of these different things. So he's supposed to lead the family. So you either want him to lead the family or you don't want him to lead the family. Now, I'm not suggesting that you follow anybody who is not a priestly shepherd.
Come on now. Come on. Come on.
I'm not
Right.
suggesting that. But
Right.
if you know that he is those things, that he is a priest and he knows how to execute and he knows how to properly run and he's listening to God and he knows how to follow instructions, you better follow that man. You
Right.
better be
Right. Right.
shepherded
Right.
by him. And
Okay.
if you
So what
don't want
happens?
to,
What happens when a woman is raised in a matriarch family, man, and
ooh,
she's not open to being uh shepherded
she's
by a
going to have to
man?
learn. Either she's going to have to learn or she's going to end up marrying somebody that you don't want to marry.
Mm.
Because there's at some level, like if you let that kind of think in that matriarchal family, like
Sorry. Go
you're
ahead.
not no, you good. You're not going to end up dating another woman. You're going to be dating a man. If you are dating a priestly shepherd, okay, you are dealing with a man that's whole.
Okay.
And some of the things that you will come with, because women always say, I want a man who is emotionally intelligent, right in alignment with the shepherd. He knows what to say, how to say it, when to say
Right.
it. But I need women to understand that that same kind of man will be the same one that will usher you right up out of his life if you come in and destroy his peace and don't allow him to be what God has called him to be.
Man. Yeah. What's your mindset, man, on the fact that husbands and wives are together to get each other to the kingdom? Where's your mindset on that?
It's salvific, man. I don't know how I would live this life if I didn't have a wife, man. Like, because faith is, I'm not a structured cat, P. And
Okay.
you know where we come from. Brooklyn is still very much resident.
Look at it, residing right here. It's
Yeah,
still
it's
residing right
still,
here.
I pray God brainwash me, pray, wash my with hyssop. You know, do it all. As a
Yeah,
matter of
yeah.
fact, keep me under there for a little while if you want to. Like,
Hold me, man. Hold me under.
yeah,
Hold me under.
I'll never
Hold me
forget,
under.
and I'll give you a practical example. I know who I'm trying to be in this season of life. You
Okay.
feel me?
Yeah.
And I remember one day, P, we was going to pick up the boys from school. Now, I man, I have a conceal and carry, right?
I hear you.
I'll leave that there.
Okay.
So we in the truck, and it's rush hour, not rush hour, but school time. A lot going, people trying to get home. So I pop out, and it's two lanes going, two lanes coming. I'm coming up to the corner, probably about a three-quarters of a mile up the road. So I pop out, and there's this truck, another car that's coming down. Like, I'm like, who's racing down like this in this kind of traffic? And so when I come out, they get mad. They lay on the horn behind
Okay.
me. So I'm sorry, Brooklyn showed up. They pitched the tent, and I brought the circle.
Brooklyn raised its ugly head.
It's ugly head. And so they laid on their horn and I laid on mine too. Right. And so, like for real, my man was passing. He kind of looked, I looked, but while he's driving, so I guess he stuck his firearm up in the window and I like this. And I was like, Negro, you ain't the only one. Back off my joint, and I put it up against the windscreen and was like, yo, you ain't I got it here too.
That's
Right.
right. You ain't the
So
only
so
one.
so look what happens. I turn the corner and Faith said two words to me. Elder Green.
Ooh.
P, when I tell you, not almost, I was in tears.
Okay.
It took me a good 120 seconds, maybe about 2-3 minutes for what she said this. Because as soon as she said it, I froze. I'm talking
Ooh.
about froze.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was
She
like,
put that up there. She put that out there to you because look what Rosalind says. Look at that.
yo,
A priestly shepherd is able to guide and be gentle enough to lead a woman who has grown up in a matriarchal home. Here it is
see,
that she is adding on without taking away your manhood.
you see what
She's
I'm
adding on
saying?
elder.
You see? And here's the funny thing. This is the reason why, because all she said was those two words, and she never said nothing else for the rest of the evening.
Elder Green.
When we had a conversation about it, we were in the bedroom, and she said, I know exactly what you felt. I saw you upset. I never intended to make you upset. I said it wasn't because of you.
Right,
She
right,
said,
right.
I said, if anything, you did exactly what you were supposed to do. She said, praise God. She's like,
Mm,
I want you to know, though, that in the midst of those things, not that you don't know it already, but sometimes situations get the best of you. She
right.
said, you don't know what his situation was. You don't know where he was going, why he was racing through trial. His child could have been sick. He could have gotten to an argument with his better half. He might have just
Uh,
lost his job. He might have done all of these different things. And she was like, the Elder Green I know always speaks life to situations. She said, I get it. Sometimes they get the best of you. But she was just like, don't feel no way about it because I'm always looking for you to do that thing as
to
opposed
that.
to instead of going back to Flatbush. It's like- but yeah, yeah, and I'm rocking with
Oh man.
Rosalind too. I'm rocking with Rosalind too.
Hmm.
But here's the thing. The only thing I'm saying about because what Rosalind's saying is facts, right? A priestly shepherd is able to guide and be gentle enough to lead a woman who has grown up in a matriarchal home. But there has to be even balance in that because I know for me personally, I know what I went through. The Bible says it's better to dwell in the corner of a roof
Room of a
than
roof,
to
right?
deal with a brawling woman. Like for real. Been there, done that. And if I have any sense that you are a peace disturber, we can't do relationship.
No, no, no,
Much less
no,
to
no,
do marriage. No, no, no.
no,
There's
no, no,
too
no.
much responsibilities. First of all, the same thing that God commissioned Adam and Eve is the same thing that he's commissioning us as married couples now. Be
Yeah,
fruitful,
yeah. Please,
multiply,
please be
subdue
fruitful.
the earth. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? And I
yes,
ain't just talking about fruit of the womb. I'm talking about fruit of your hands, fruit of your
yes,
mind. What can
yes.
you add in the earth as a couple? And there's so much responsibility and so many different things attached to that. I don't have time to fight. You know what I'm saying? Because you're
Mhm.
trying to buck what God is already. I remember P and B time. God, you told it to me. Why you ain't tell it to her? like, just tell it to her, please,
Wow,
please. Yeah, bro.
wow. I really believe, man, that, and I'm sorry to say this, right? Because I like how you put it. I'm not trying to be, what's the word again? Sexist or chauvinistic
Mhm,
or whatever,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
But the truth of the, I'm telling you, the truth of the matter is that I think it's tough. I'm gonna just say it, man. I think it's tough being a man.
It is, bro.
I think it's tough being a man. I want to pause for a moment and ask, as we go down to our last 30 minutes, I want to just ask everyone, if you have the opportunity, just go ahead and share this. We're not able to go on my site or on
Mhm,
my page. We don't know what's going on. So we are going into different pages. So all these individuals that are watching right now, you're watching from different places. So you may see a small number here, a small number there, a small number there, whatever. We're not on our page. But I want to just simply ask you to just share that with someone, share this with someone, because in the
mhm,
last 30 minutes, we're just going to be asking some questions to individuals. About shepherding, asking about not only shepherding but priesthood. How difficult it may be being a man in that sense. And I think that I'm saying this. I think that when we pause to figure out what we are in our marriages or with our families, I think that if we're able to identify what we are more of, I think we'll be better than ever
mhm.
before. Like I was just thinking about it, with my family, am I more of a priest or am I more of a shepherd? And I think with my kids, I'm like a shepherd. I think with my kids, I'm like a shepherd. I think with my wife, I could do better in both.
And both.
Yeah, because
Yep.
if we go through something, man, I'm not the first guy that would be like, all right, honey, let's pray together. Let's talk to
Mhm.
God about it. Let's see what he does, so and so, whatever. And I want to be that guy, but sometimes I just feel like, man, hey, this is true. I want to sometimes feel like, is she gonna be like, Well, you weren't like that yesterday. Why you like that now? You know what I'm saying? And I think women, um, I think women validate us.
They do.
And when women validate us, we become stronger in our validation.
Yep.
We become weaker. Watch this. We become
Mhm.
weaker when we are left to the curb or put off. You understand where I'm coming from? But when we're
Uh-huh.
validated, we become stronger. We that glues us, man.
Mhm.
That does it for us. And that's that word that comes out.
Mhm.
When we're not affirmed, we become weak. When we're
That
validated, we become strong. You know.
that's why we doing relationship. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, men are leaders, women are influencers. If that be the case, influence and lead.
I got you. I got you. Who's that driving? Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Who that?
Hold on a second. Phil, Phil, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Say word.
What's up, y'all?
Phil Boogie.
What up, Pastor?
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
I'm
What's
good,
good?
man. We good. I didn't know you had it in you to drive and talk. You know what I mean? I know you
You
can do.
know, I had pulled over, but then you kept going, and then I was like, I need to keep going. You know.
That's it.
Yo, so let me let
Has
me,
to
let me
be.
let me ask you a question, man. And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
look, man. Keep your eyes on the road,
Yeah,
would you?
yeah, please.
I'm at a stoplight. I'm at a
Okay,
stoplight.
yo, check it out.
Please.
What do you think you are? Do you think you're more of a priest in your home, or you think you're more of a shepherd in your home?
A shepherd with priestly duties. I like to, you know, give that word, get that devotion, but I also like to kind of lead and comfort and
Mhm.
just have that patience of a shepherd type thing.
Uh,
Mhm.
And I think that's important. It goes a long way,
Yeah.
because if you're just priest, sometimes you just get high into that thing. It kind of elevates your intensity. You know what I'm saying? And
gotcha.
you start holding people according to the law. The shepherd is holding people according to what's going to get the win at the end of the day.
Facts.
What is going to get the best results. So
Uh,
you can go in as a priest, hey, thus saith the Lord, but sometimes you got to pull that back and say, hey, you know what, where are you in your life, and how can I
mm,
support that?
wow.
So in essence, what I think I hear Phil saying is priests lean more to law, um, shepherd lean more to principle.
Yes.
So it's funny. Me and Jason O'Rourke was having, boy, if
Yeah. Nasty, nasty,
bruh,
nasty.
like
Where does he
Jason,
live?
give me
Where does he? Is he in North
Jason.
Carolina,
No, he's not here. Where's
Atlanta?
Jason? No, he's in the Midwest somewhere. Where's Jason again?
Really?
Yeah, we just spoke again this morning. Every now and then we just check in, and I forgot where Jason is right. Where's Jason again? Anyway, I'll figure that out in a minute. But me and the brother were having a conversation, and he was telling a particular dude, like, yo, stop preaching to people policy and law, right? Because don't worry, it's going to come for you. What you teach people is
Yeah.
principle, because no matter,
Ah,
because with law, what happens when that law don't fit the time, place, and space that you're in? Like, there's some things
Right.
that people did in terms of a law that don't fit where we are now in terms of the course of time, right?
mhm.
But the good thing about principle is that no matter what the time is, no matter what the situation is, it always stays the
Always
same.
remains the same.
It
It
always
always
remains.
remains the same.
You feel me? So,
Yeah.
to that point, when the dude who was policy and law, because in terms of the church, post a picture one day because
Uh,
he was hard on the topic of jewelry, right? My man posted a picture one day. His wife had on one wicked brooch and some wicked watch. The Saints came Wakanda style after him
man, man, man,
and
man.
rinsed him good and
Yeah.
proper. And he came back and had to tell him, see, this is the reason why I'm telling you, lay off of that. The principle, teach principle, because no matter what the season, no matter where you are, like for real, Look how Jesus does it throughout the Gospels. It's all story based. It's all principle
Yeah,
based, right?
that's
Right. You're
right.
right. You're right. You're right. No, I'm gonna say this. You're absolutely right. And see, here it is that when you are the well, you see, here's the problem again. We are called the head of the house, right?
Oh man,
The question is, are we treated like the head of the house?
my.
I
Well,
think I'm gonna say this, man. I think a lot of times a woman doesn't only want a priest,
Mhm,
she doesn't only want a shepherd,
mhm.
but she also want a thug.
Yeah.
And I think that we can't give everything. So, you know, is a woman ever really satisfied with what she has, or we got to keep playing the game of satisfaction in
I
all the roles?
I believe that if you have a healthy woman, she's satisfied with what she has.
Okay, I hear you.
I
Phil, what's your
believe.
thought?
yeah,
What you thought, Dr.
I
Phil?
think so. I think a healthy mind, is absolutely happy with what they have. If not, then they're constantly getting at you to do more and do this. But when you hear from your woman, you're enough, you know, that goes a long way.
Oh, you're enough. I'm sorry, I was thinking somewhere. I was thinking something else.
You're thinking,
Phil, when, when
you're,
you
you're
see,
thinking can't get enough.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
trying to tell you, man. I want to know what it feels like, really, right? Because I'm now into my 20. I'm going into my 23rd, right? 23rd year, and in my 23rd year, I have to ask the questions. I want to do something in my 23 third year. In my 23 years of marriage, I want to go back after at each year and find bright spots for every year that has passed.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the 25. I'm not talking about when you hit 25. I'm trying to find bright spots for every year that have passed. Because I can remember every year. I can go back and I can look at pictures and think of what has happened every year. What were some of the bright spots? You understand where I'm coming from?
Mhm.
Or I got to think about what were bright spots. Like I give you one for instance, man, and this is very big for me. And Phil, you know about this in this sense. Leaving New York, leaving New York, and my wife saying okay when there was not even a place to lay our head.
Mm.
That's a bright spot. I don't got. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and say I can think of
Right.
thousands of bright spots. I could think of that as a bright spot, straight off.
And then I think
Yeah.
too, P, not only just look back at the past and see all the bright spots in every year. I think for me personally is too, in addition to that, is what can I create in the years to come that we haven't experienced before? Who can I
Wow.
become in this relationship who I've never been before? You know why? Because I don't want you to say that every year it was the status quo. And here's another reason why: it highlights my discipline.
Okay.
And
Okay.
one thing that I know about discipline as it relates to discipline, time, is that discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons.
Wow.
I don't want to
Man.
never look back over my life and say, man, this woman pledged her love and stuff to me, and I never got the chance to do this in a healthy kind of way, of course. Because some
Sure.
dudes be,
Sure.
I want to buy $5 million home, and I never got a chance to do that. Like, come on, man, that's not.
No, we're
I'm
not
talking
talking.
about.
We're
I'm
not
talking about
talking.
the fabric of who you are as an individual. How can I love you more
Right.
in
Right.
this
Right.
season than in a way that just causes you to be like, God is a good God.
Yeah. 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 I like what you just said. What can we become? I think a lot of things. That I'm going to say this to you. And I wonder if a lot of men are like this, right?
Mm,
But I want to be supported in who I'm becoming.
hmm
Okay. And I say that because I don't have a lot of patience on becoming.
that, but that's none of us, really and truly,
Okay.
right? We want the we want the microwave. Let's keep it 100. We want to
All
do
right.
work this week and next week pull up the harvest.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But for me
Yeah.
personally, when I think like that, I have to also step into my objective mind and say, okay, son, know, don't front on yourself.
Yeah, for real.
Don't 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 front on yourself.
Hmm.
You know that it don't happen that way.
Right, right,
All
right.
right. You know it don't happen that way. Okay. So then how do I need to grow, or who do I need to be in this season that allows me to change my mindset as it relates to that? Because here's the funny thing. When you think a particular way, you behave a particular way. When you behave
Ah.
that way, you got to deal with them outcomes.
Hmm.
So I'm miserable and I'm blown out the frame because I'm looking at social media and I see my boy who been doing this for us, and he's, and I'm still in this position. No, 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 no. Greatest stealer of joy, right? And now I have
Greatest
to be
stealer
this.
of joy.
Yeah, that's comparison, because that's what we're doing. We
Right,
comparing,
right, right.
right? And so now I'm like, okay, what do I have to do in this season to become a better version of myself so that I can get better outcomes? Because if I think differently, I behave differently, and then the outcomes are different.
Okay. So if I
But
think different,
here's
if
what. Sorry, sorry.
okay,
Let me
go
say
ahead.
this part.
Okay.
So if I want to be supported, then I need to communicate to my wife. I'm no longer satisfied with the person that I am. I feel growth on my life. And when I'm growing in this season, nobody else knows me.
Hmm.
Nobody else knows me like
Like you do.
right. But the truth is the truth. Nobody else knows me like you do. And when you see me growing, it would mean the world to me if you would validate the growth when you recognize it.
That's it right there. And I'm gonna say it again. I feel like a lot of men, I'm gonna say it right now, a lot of men do not want to take the time to grow because we set ourselves up a certain way already, right? We set ourselves a certain way already.
Mhm.
And when we set ourselves a certain way already, and then you're saying, I gotta grow, I gotta be better than I am. I think that what men are looking for, again, it goes back to that word of validation. Hey, I know you can be that person. I know that you can grow. Are you good, Phil? I know that you can grow. Turn your camera this way.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Mhm.
I do believe I can grow. I do believe I can be. That validation is really big. I'm not talking about this coming from your mama. My mother will
Mm-mm.
always be like, "Oh, you got it. You can make it." But when a wife knows your idiosyncrasies, when a wife knows
Mhm.
your stuff, your mess ups, your doo doo, you understand
Mhm.
where I'm coming from, and then
Mhm.
you're saying, "Man, I'm tired of smelling like this. I want to do
Mhm.
something different." Would they be on board, or what I've heard from many guys before, sometimes women like your mess so that they can stay messy.
Do you understand now, for the single people? Do you understand now why I'm saying be the best version? I'm sorry, be the right person before you choose the right person.
Be the
Right person.
before
Bef-
you choose the right
Choose the right.
person.
Here's what I'm saying. A large number of people need development before they even begin to date. Why? Because if you're going to choose in the current state that you are, thinking the way that you think, you're going to choose
Mhm.
somebody that's a reflection of who you are spiritually. Why? Because you can't make a decision out of a place you've never been to.
Okay. You know what somebody told me the other day? And this is for both of y'all. This is somebody, yo, listen, man, I'm embarrassed. And I'm going to already apologize to you, Phil. And I'm already apologize to you, Quest.
Yeah.
I made a statement the other day, man, in private to some people who said who there was two individuals that was talking at this place who were divorced. They were at a men's retreat and they were talking and they were both divorced. One was separated, the other one was divorced. And I remember coming to a group of people saying, "How could you allow these guys to come and talk to us when they have failed?"
Who better to tell you about?
That never hit me until like a couple of months ago. Like in the beginning of the year, it hit me. Who do I want to listen to? I don't want to listen to the person. No. I don't mind listening to the person who has struggled through their marriage and made it. I don't mind that, right? Because that's all we ever do in our church. All we ever do in our church is we talk about the success stories from 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 a standpoint of, yeah, we struggled but we held on. We struggled but we held on. We don't have what do you call it again? Programs or individuals that come to talk to us, or these with people who have gotten a divorce. Man, I fell in that mindset. I
Mm.
fell in that mindset. Who best to talk to individuals about being what they need to be than individuals who have ready, who have failed in that regard and have grown from that regard.
I thought.
I look at Phil's wife all the time, and I wonder how the hell did he get her? You know what I mean?
Shoot, they say the same thing about me. Like, how
I
did you
just
do
I
that?
look at I look at you, Quest, and I say to myself, how in the world?
Yeah,
And see, I feel like if I ever got a divorce from Wendy,
game,
there's gonna be some monkey
game,
ugly looking. I
game.
can't. It's like I don't fault nobody, but y'all brothers one upped.
Yeah,
Both of
yeah,
y'all one upped.
game,
You know,
game. It been born in me from day one. I got game.
Phil one upped,
Yeah,
and you Quest one upped,
yeah.
and
Some brothers in the jungle, some brothers on a quest.
Get in your bag, Phil. Get in your
Phil,
bag.
Phil bringing it,
Get in
Phil
your
bringing
bag.
it all the way back. Phil
Get in
bringing
your
it all the way
bag.
back.
Listen, me and Quest go all the way back,
Come
man.
on,
Mhm.
man. Stop playing,
All the
man.
way back.
Come on, man.
I'm surprised y'all brothers doing ministry when y'all could have
Man,
been making millions and giving me the tithe.
man. God's
Hey,
got. Hey, you know, dog.
let me just pause to say this. Quest was like the MC for Fife Dogs Memorial at the Apollo Theater,
I remember.
and there was so many hip hop artists in the Apollo Theater that night that if it blew up, if it was bombed, hip hop would be dead.
Dead.
That's how many hip hop artists,
Yeah,
like the legends, were in one place.
I remember. I remember. I remember. Phil, did you go?
yeah.
I
Phil
went
was.
to the memorial. You did, and Paul,
I did the
you did
funeral.
the
Yep.
funeral.
Right, I did the funeral.
Right,
Right, right.
right. But I was
Yo,
there at the
listen,
memorial.
listen, man. I'm gonna tell y'all now. I was starstruck. I was starstruck at the funeral. I'm being honest with you. When
Everybody was
Buster came
running.
up to me and he was like, yo, I used to do your religion, yo. You know, I used to do your religion, yo.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
Yep.
You know, because he was his folks were Adventists.
Yep.
that's right.
And he said, well, he said, I'm not running back there no more. You know,
Yep.
Mike
Because
Mike
they did.
Mike Rappaport was there.
Yep.
When I say my man's De La Soul,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
them
Pause.
guys were there before a man passed.
Hey.
Everybody was up in that piece.
Yeah,
And yeah, y'all both, man, y'all picked, y'all have left the that world and came over to this world.
That's all. That's all God though. Um, P,
yeah.
because like for real, I didn't see it no other way. Malik was, and it was all orchestrated because Malik was the one who really got me to move to Atlanta, and then once
Really?
yeah, it was because every time we got off the road, I would be in New York, bored out of my mind, and I would go down. Me and Kurt would go down to Atlanta, and like on certain, they just show up like, "Yo, let's go down to Atlanta." It'd be like Thursday, we'll push out
Yeah.
after just coming off the road, and go down there. He'd be like, "What y'all doing down here?" So he opened the door, whatever. And it was so crazy. Like he would leave a day or two later. I got a show in such and such, or like a one-off, if you will. I'm like, well, why
Right.
you ain't tell us we could have went? And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. Hold the house down for me till I get back.
Yeah,
He would just be gone for days. And we
yeah.
had his house in the A chilling. But yeah, man, that's who he was, man.
Well,
Hmm.
if y'all could change like that, then who could you become for your wives?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who can you become for your wives? I got old pictures of the both of y'all. I got I got old pictures that'll be like, nah, not them,
Let
because
me.
y'all so Jesus-y right now. You know what I
Uh,
mean?
yeah, my Jesus got swag though. I can't.
Okay.
I
That's it.
can't. That's it. Yeah.
Listen,
It,
Yeah.
he represent one side of New York. I represent another. You know.
fire,
Oh,
fire. So
you
so
got fired. All
so
right.
let me show you this, P. You see
Okay.
this which let me see. It's this. You know who that is right there?
Hold up a second. Let me put. How did you do that?
Yeah, you know who that is right there? That's Granny right there. And you know who that is?
No.
You know who that is next to Granny? That's Faith.
No.
Wow.
So we ain't been doing this since, you know what I'm saying? Her and my sister, they've been rocking for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they've been rocking for a minute, bruh.
Wow.
That's Faith right there.
That's Faith right there. Remember her and my sister, they was in high school together.
No.
Yeah. So I used to see them at my
I want to
house
say
almost every weekend.
yo, Chief. I want to thank God for time because
I would have never thought that we would have been.
no.
Because first of all, this was when I first left New York to go to
Mhm.
Jersey, right? Because my mom was like, "I need to get you out the city. Y'all wilding out." And right after high school, if I finished up, because the first 2 years I did at Greater, the second 2 years I did at South Brunswick, and I was like, "Yeah, Jersey ain't for me." After my first year of college, I was like, I went back to New York to be with Granny. But yeah,
Wow.
so that
When
yeah,
when
we
when
ain't
when did she pass?
um she passed during COVID.
Yeah, that's all I remember. It was a little while back.
Yeah, she
It was a
passed
little while.
during COVID. Yep. Yeah. But that's
So
that
so,
that,
so I got
that,
I
that
got a question to ask you, and then I'm gonna
yeah,
jump back on Phil for a second.
yeah.
Um, yo, you grew up in a matriarchal house, man.
I
All
did.
right, okay.
I did.
I don't want to ask, is there any damage there? But
I
what was
I,
that?
I
What was it? What could have been? If you could say there was a negative impact, right? I don't. That's kind of difficult, man. What was the impact of you growing up with your grandmother, with your mother, with her sister, and so whatever at the
all right.
house?
So let me say this.
And then I'm gonna come back on
We
Phil on something.
we um I grew up not in just a matriarchal household. I grew up in a Jamaican matriarchal
That's
household. There's
worse. That's
there's a
worse.
there's a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there are already some expectations based upon previous hurt, previous relationships, because I'm the only reference of man that's in the house. Did they um it was funny. There was like almost this way that they would deal with me, and then they would come back later on and say we love you and da da da, and they would deal with me like that again and then come back and say, you know what I'm saying? And I knew they were just trying to, as you get older,
Hmm.
and you get access to information and you get a therapist. Yeah, I'm just gonna let that breathe for a minute.
Whew.
Because
Yeah.
some of y'all are dealing with stuff, and
Yeah.
like therapy is a taboo word amongst our people. But I'm
It's
telling
real.
you, right? Here's
I'm
the
telling
funny
you, it's
thing.
real.
I will say this: when your check engine light come on, you know to take your car to the mechanic. When you bust a hole in your sheetrock, it's funny you know how to call the carpenter or the sheetrock guy. When something's wrong with the plumbing, you know to call the plumber. But when cognitively something's not right, and you know it ain't right,
Yeah.
you know
You
when
don't.
you in the house talking to yourself and ain't nobody there allowed. You know, like for real, when you living out that stuff inside your brain,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
not, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Right.
don't want nobody else. You put the mask on because you don't want nobody else to see you struggling with it, but
Mm.
you struggle with it in silence. Yo, nah, I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah. I don't know if Dorch is listening, man, but I sent him an invite long time ago, and he ain't check it on his Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like what you're saying there. I like what you're saying, Quest.
Yep.
I like what you're saying.
It's necessary, bro.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. That's real.
It's necessary. So
So
you
so
know how
Phil,
to.
I asked Quest this last week. I'm gonna ask you this, right? And you could plead the fifth because we don't want you to get in no trouble. We want you to make sure that you lay down well tonight.
Yes.
Um, if there's anything you feel like you can improve on in your marriage, not her, you in your marriage, what would it be?
Mm. I'm always trying to work on communication. Like I'm always
Always.
trying to make
Oh
sure
man.
communication is clear. I'm also trying to work on intentionality. The right gift, the gift that fits, not just a random gift, but the one that matters.
Wow.
Always trying to improve on that. And, sometimes I'm great, sometimes I fall short.
Hmm.
But and also the listening part, is the part I'm working on the most. Just patience, listen, what am I missing, and communicate clearly.
Wow. Man, listen, you didn't have a problem rattling that thing off. You didn't do listen, Quest was like this last week.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah, I
just
mean, you live this life every day, so you know that you're trying to work on a few things, and you're like, man, what can I work on today, and how can I be today, and and that goes in my job, that goes in home. How can I be a better father?
whew,
Um, how can I communicate better? All of that. There's just a lot of things that you're trying to. How do I navigate problem solutions?
man.
And how do I solve or at least navigate through the problem, the challenge that I'm having? So, and what you're saying about counseling is that was number one after going through a divorce. That was one thing I had to get because a lot of things were just playing on my mind, and so I took
Hmm.
accountability. But I was able to talk some things out, and sometimes you realize you're not as bad as you thought you were.
Thank you. Yo, hold
um
on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can please can you give us some an effect on that? Listen, what you just said right there. I'm gonna let you keep going. Not as bad as I thought I was.
yeah,
I'm not as bad as I thought I was, man. And I think I get that from my dad. My dad would tell me all the time, "So, man, you're not that bad,
yeah,
don't be so rough on yourself. Don't be so hard on
right,
yourself."
yeah, yeah,
And I want to listen. I want to affirm you for that just now. Every time I get on, right, a lot of people don't recognize why we do this on Mondays because we're just chopping it up because I learn every time. I learn every time I get on here. I learn, and
All of us do.
what you just said right there was top notch. I'm not as bad as I think I am, as
yeah,
I think I am.
And here's the
right.
funny thing. If you ask your spouse, they'll probably tell you. Now, some of you, I ain't gonna lie, don't ask her that. But for some of you,
Don't ask her that, man. Don't do it.
yeah,
Don't
but for
do it.
some of you who know that you're your worst critic, you ask her, like, you know what I'm saying? And she's gonna be frank with you. These areas you
Yeah.
do, there's a thing that I used to do with my wife, and I probably need to get back on it. It's
Mm.
this thing that I used to do with a report card.
Mm.
So once every 3 months, P, I used to come with her, and I just sit and I have it. One, wives want to be cherished, and so the word "cherish" was broken down into a couple of words, and so on. And I would give her the space to come back and check with me when she wants her report card on how I'm doing. But I would set the tone by asking her, like I said, it's report card time. She's like, "Oh, okay. Whenever you're ready, let me know." So
Oh,
we
I
would
like that.
sit down, and I would ask
Mm.
her, "Are you cherished by me? Are you loved by me? Do you feel led by me? Am I a good shepherd? Am I the father to your children that you thought you would always have? Am I the husband that you always thought that you would have in this season?" So we would go these things, and I would give her the autonomy to say, "Yep, I like this area. You're fantastic in this area. This area could use a little work." And also the autonomy to give me the lemon squeeze. You suck in this area.
Wow.
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 And I
That
have
that's
a
that's
choice.
that's strong right there, man.
That
Yeah,
is strong.
and I got a choice. I got a choice to be um to make the adjustments or continue to suck in that area. But if I continue to suck in that area, I know it's coming. Why? Because discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons.
And regret weighs tons. So let
Oh
me
well.
ask you this. Let me ask you. I'm going to tell you this, right? And I already know. somebody upstairs watching this, so I'm gonna just say it this way. Sometimes I don't like being reprimanded. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't like being
Who do
reprimanded.
though?
And it ain't like she don't like me. It's not like she hate me. It's just like sometimes I don't like being reprimanded. You know what I mean?
But here's the funny thing about it, though, Pete. We got to be careful because I know on many occasions, just because of my leadership, my wife don't tell me what to do. I know she playing, but there's a little seriousness in that pun. Like I'm like, Faith, this needs to, and we gotta listen. Don't tell me what to do.
Mhm.
She joking, but like for real, if it gets any more serious than that, like based upon our leadership and they'll end up doing the same thing. So when I say, yo,
Yeah.
I don't like to be reprimanded, but I gotta check for the times that she don't like being. Listen,
Nobody
brother,
does.
Nobody does, man.
nobody likes it
Nobody
because.
does.
But here's what I've equated it to. Whenever I get reprimanded, whenever I'm operating in difficulty or challenge, those are the areas that my check engine light comes on and tells me that it's difficult and it's challenging and you're experiencing what you're experiencing because this is an indication of an area you need growth in. So
Yeah.
once again, you can choose to make the adjustments,
Mhm.
but don't nothing bite you in your behind worse than stuff that's unresolved.
That's
Yeah,
I you're right.
but realize this too, when somebody's reprimanding, you got to check where they're coming from because
Mm.
Okay.
it could be just a moment that they're going through some stuff. They said something sideways in the wrong way. Sometimes, if you're patient enough, they'll kind of check themselves, be like, yo, I didn't mean to come at you like that, such and such. And so sometimes you have to, but me, that's why I'm working on patience. Like, what? What'd you say? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, excuse me? You know, and before I would have a rebuttal, like a quick, and so I'm getting better at it, but no, it's and
It's it
sometimes if I repress it and keep it inside, it gets worse. So there's a way to communicate, hey, I didn't like the way you said that, or hey, you probably could have came a different way,
Come on,
uh I,
come
I
on.
I'm tired of being destructive, right? Like I'm a destructive kind of guy. Like and I'm not talking about destructive like I can get fired. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because me and Phil we're in a whole different sphere. All right. I'm talking about destructive like where my mind goes. You
Mm.
know, um,
hmm
a
hmm
lot of times just because we're not doing something doesn't mean we're not thinking it, you
Yeah.
know. And a lot of times to get our um how would you say it? To find our peace, we don't go to the word, right? We don't go to the
Which
word.
one?
But listen,
PEACE or PIECE?
whichever
Which
one that whichever one that makes you feel good, bro.
Well, the second
And
the second one will definitely give you the
make,
first one. That's a
yeah,
fact.
yeah, yeah. I remember. Listen, I remember, man. My first fight, real fight with Wendy, man. We had just
Whoa.
bought this house, right?
Uh,
We was in Rosedale, right? Was in Rosedale. Bought this house, man. We took the panels off of the walls.
uh,
So, um, wait, sure. Um, um, um. So when I took the panels off the wall, we got Mike Dortch coming on. We're gonna ask him the same thing. We're gonna jet out.
yes, yes.
So we took the panels off the wall. That was the first thing we did.
Mhm.
And in my mind, Phil, I had a color that I wanted. All right.
Oh, sir.
And man, she was like, "No, that's not the color that I was thinking of."
I see where this is going
Okay.
already.
So
And
so
you got destructive.
yo, listen, bro. I must have said something to her, man, and she was like,
Oh, sir.
and she kind of really put it. If I can remember, she kind of put it out there like, "Yo, I don't stop you from being a priest. Don't stop me from being a homemaker." You know what I
Oh,
mean?
mercy.
Ah.
I don't stop you from leading because we had no children or nothing. or whatever, right? Yeah. So I can't even tell you what happened, right? Because y'all go. We can't go unscripted. It's more prison, right? I'm fighting. It's like I really want to like choke her out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I call my father, man. And just like your dad would throw some words of wisdom, Phil, your dad is not going to talk long. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Phil,
Yeah.
Your dad was not going to talk long. Rest in peace with some of his statements that he just makes. He don't got time for that garbage.
Let's give you the
My man would
1-2
be
punch
fixing a
the step.
come on, man. Phil's pops would be fixing a car, right, and poke his head out and be like, "So you think that's gonna work?"
And
Yeah, all right. So I called my dad. I said, because I can have choice words with my dad. All right. And man, he said, "You want peace?"
That's it.
He said, "You don't want peace."
Yeah.
He said, if she wants the walls rainbow color, you get all those cans of paint and make it rainbow color. And when she come back and says she don't like it, you paint it the way she said that she wanted, because that's the only way you're gonna find peace and get peace. You hear me? I was 31 when my dad said that. You hear
need
me?
to preach a
Yeah.
sermon called
Yeah.
Peace and Peace.
Peace and peace.
Peace and
Let's leave
peace.
that to
That's
let
a
Phil try it
t-shirt.
first. Yes,
That's a t-shirt right there.
that's a thing.
Give peace to get peace.
You gotta give
or peace will give you peace.
Peace will give you peace. That's our t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt, bro. I love that, man. Yo,
Yes,
but it's true. It's
Mm.
definitely true. I don't see George coming on, but listen, man. I know this much, that what I've learned tonight, a couple of takeaways that I got tonight, man. Thanks, Phil, because I just we bother people every now and then to just jump on. First of all, I want to apologize. I don't know why our regular page is not working. So we're scattered all over the place right now, on different platforms. I want to say shout out. Last week we had like 800.
Mhm.
That was exciting, man.
Yeah.
That was really exciting.
Yep.
So I don't know where we are now, because we're all over the place. We on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different platforms, simply because this thing ain't working. But we're here. Let me tell you some takeaways, and thank you, Phil, for this communication, man. Serious takeaway. Serious takeaway.
Yeah.
And and that serious takeaway for me is, the way we communicated in my 30s is not the way I communicate in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I communicate in my 40s is not the way I communicate in my 50s.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down.
But what you're saying, my dude, is you got to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's it. But you got to communicate.
Can I preface that with one word?
Yeah.
Effectively communicate.
Yeah. 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 That's it. That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just because I'm a preacher, and we live for communicating, just because you are a wordsmith, Quest, and just because, Phil, you are an orator, doesn't mean that we know how to communicate.
That's it.
A lot of what you even said, Phil, before, was not just communicating, but it's when.
Yeah.
Like when.
Yeah.
To be smart enough to know when.
Mhm.
Problems. That's me right there. Another thing, man, that you said again, Phil, right? Your short little time here. You said shepherding and priesthood.
Yeah.
That, like, they go hand in hand. Shepherding and priesthood. It goes hand in hand.
Well,
The one thing, man, yeah. The one thing that I believe that I is, hold on a second. I know we're about to close off, but Mike, you alive?
Yeah.
You have to come up with that God voice.
Yo,
So I'm gonna
he in the cut.
you in the cut. You in the cut. He's feeling good because he's an empty nester. But
Teach me the ways. Teach me the ways.
Yeah. When I'm officially there, yes, I will teach you.
You need to
but
hold an empty nester
we're learning the
masterclass.
way.
Is it learning the way? So we're going with some takeaways. I know we only got like a couple of minutes left, so we're going with some takeaways. Mike, I asked Phil the same thing. I asked Quest the same thing. I'm gonna ask you this before we just close it off because I saw you on. So, what do you think is easier, to be a priest or a shepherd?
Shepherd by far.
Wow.
Once, like I was saying, once you add that priestly part on there, you have to add on God. You have to add on what he's like, what he expects you to be. You can guide people and direct people and all the other stuff all day long. But when it comes to being a priest, you gotta know how to be a priest. Someone's got to show you how to be a priest. Shepherding comes almost natural because we're taught to protect, we're taught to provide, we're taught to guide, we're taught to do those things. But when it comes to being a priest, it's taking those things to the next level and adding that piece of God on there, that if you didn't have the direction coming up, it's a hard, and even if you did, it's a hard line to toe, because God's calling you to do a little more than just guide people around. Show them where to go. It's a little more than that. So
It's a little bit more than that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Shepherd,
Oh my
shepherd
goodness.
by far. Shepherd by far.
I got you. Okay, hold on. You're not gonna get off the hook, man, because we should have been done 15 minutes ago, but we're gonna. You can't get off the hook.
OT.
And you could right. You could plead the fifth on this, but if there's anything you could do better in your marriage, what would it be?
Man, that hasn't changed. Well,
you could plead the fifth, bro. You know,
no, it's cool. Communication.
Wow.
Not expect what you don't communicate.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he talking about the conversations that I have with myself, but I treat Faith like I had them with her.
Yo, are you crazy, Mike? You know what you just said?
Wait, you gotta write
So
that.
so I'm blaming so what I'm doing is blaming Wendy for stuff we never had a conversation about.
Yes, sir. But you had the conversation with yourself, though.
Sure enough.
You knew how it all played out and how it was all supposed to go.
Yep.
And then when it actually, when things went one way and you were like, well, that's not my story. That's not how this is supposed to work.
Yep. You put the
But you never
expectation on.
said
You ever caught yourself saying, I thought you'd be home by now. Or I thought you made that call. I thought you made that text. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was you. You know what I'm saying?
It was you.
And you never had that conversation.
What? Wow. Oh my gosh. Yo, listen, why are we down to the last couple of minutes and I'm feeling like somebody better write a book on this joint? Yo, Phil, with that communication, my man said it. When I go upstairs, I gotta be like, yo, I never said that, did I? You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that, did I? Man,
that goes both ways. It's not just on us. It goes both ways, because there are things that they expect as well. But you didn't tell me. You can't hold me to that if you ain't saying about it.
Right.
So
that's wild right there.
That's
Okay,
why I
wild
said
right there.
effective communication.
Effective communication.
Yeah, just
Speaking of-
because I say something or I'm dope at articulating a thought
Right.
doesn't mean you received it well. Because two people can be speaking English and still be speaking a
Big
different
time.
language.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
You could be French or you could be Creole.
That's it.
I mean, you just by the way that you're not communicating and you think you're communicating, you're speaking in a different dialect. Let me tell you what's crazy about speaking in a different dialect. If your wife is speaking in a different dialect than you, there's somebody out there that's speaking her dialect.
Yep.
That's facts.
That's facts.
Yeah.
And if I don't meet the need as far as her needing to hear me, How long you think it's gonna be before somebody speak? And yep.
Work husband, broom
You know,
closet,
my
broom
wife
closet,
and I,
brother.
Yeah.
my,
I
my
got
wife
I
and I had this question. We asked the question because we were listening to something, and we reiterated the question, "What is your love language?"
Mhm.
And I knew it, she knew it, but we still had to reiterate, "This is my love language," because that just renews. Okay, this is how am I communicating? How am I intentionally approaching something? How can I get better in that area?
Mm.
So,
but
something you
Phil,
need
that's
to
the
know.
reason why we used to have the report card. Because
Yeah.
just because my love language is this in this season, don't mean it. Okay. Faith used
Hmm.
to love gifts, but not just any old gift. I could buy her a handbag and she'd be like, oh, that's nice. But when the handbag or whatever the gift is, big, small, or indifferent, said faith, whatever the essence of faith is, like when I bought this gift
Yeah.
and it had faith in mind, she's like, oh, you were thinking about me when you bought this. That's the thing
That's
that
right.
sends her through the
Well,
roof.
that,
Then it
Yeah.
got to a point where I would buy them and I wouldn't get that same response anymore. So I was like,
Right.
all right,
Right.
cool. Let me send her flowers to the job because I don't know what it is, but women getting flowers in the presence of other women, that's a thing. You feel me? Then
I
that
believe
didn't
that.
Nico was born, and it didn't matter what gift I bought, how many flowers I sent to the job. It just like it didn't hit the same way. And I'm like, man, what happened?
But, that, but that's what Phil was just talking about.
The
Phil had
love
to
language changed.
he had to ask his okay. So that means you got to always check up. You got to always
But that's what I'm saying.
do the
That's the
homework. You
reason
got to
for the
always
report card. Like, how
right.
am I
But
in this season? Like,
right, but
am
the
I
homework gets the report cards get jacked up when we're not doing our homework.
that's it.
And that's what Phil is talking about. Phil was saying earlier, okay, my issue simply is that when I get this, is it for her? You know what I'm saying? When I do this, is it, I got to be more intentional. And I'm just saying, well, Phil, how much more intentional you need to be? We say, yo, that means if um if my wife, if I give my wife, I was going to use your wife as an example, so I'm not. If I give my wife a gift and she's like, I don't, that's not what I need. That's not what I want. I never said nothing about this. Where am I going to put this? Oh, you understand where I'm coming from? Then there was something wrong with the communication. There was no intentionality. You understand where I'm
Or
coming from?
or we not checking. Just think of school when you send your kids to school and they send you home a report card. You're gonna be vexed if 6 months you find out your child is flunking out of school. Well, where the blurt bleep was the
Blurp,
report
blurp,
card?
blurp.
You know what I'm saying? To tell me or give me an idea of how this child is progressing through the,
Yeah.
the school year. That's the same thing. Let's check in every ever so often because things switch, or you think you rocking on the right path, like I'm doing it, but you didn't do no
Okay.
check-in, and they now in a new season, and you're like, well wait, what
Where,
happened?
were-
You
where-
know?
man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So last question for everybody. I promise I'm gonna let y'all go. Check-ins. How often should we be doing check-in? Mike, I'm gonna go with you first. How often should you do it? Do you feel you should do a check-in with Arlene?
Wow. Um,
I'm not saying that you're doing it or that we're doing it right. I'm just asking you what your thoughts are. Dang,
I
I'm sorry,
should
man.
check.
I ain't mean to do that to
No,
you,
no,
bro.
no. I should check in. I don't know if I would put a time specific,
Right.
but there are specific times. And I say that
Nice.
because there are
Nice.
times when you see something and it's like, huh, that ain't right.
Right.
Mm.
Yep.
And that's when you check in.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
when you be check. That's when you should check in. Yes,
Yeah.
maybe you should have a, once a quarter, whatever, however you want to look at it, every 2 months, whatever. But the time you should definitely check in is once you have that RCA dog look.
I like that. Only certain amount of people gonna get
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Go Google that, y'all. RCA dog.
I'm just saying.
I got you. I got you. Um,
We might be telling on ourselves when we do that. I just
Yeah,
say,
yeah, 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 yeah. I got to be careful. I got to be careful.
do they
Okay,
even make vinyl anymore? I
come
just
on,
be
bro. Come
curious.
on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
What about Lynette for you? How often do you think you need to be checking in with Lynette?
Oh man. I mean, quite often. It's just because seasons. It's I see just different seasons, and I know right now we're in a transitionary season. There's a
Okay.
lot of checking in, a lot of talking, a lot of communicating. We're in a transition. When her father died, that was a
Hmm.
time to keep checking in. Or
Right, right, right.
sometimes it's the check-in isn't necessarily, hey, how you doing? It's kind of a observation, praying over, not saying much, just kind of being there. The ministry of presence will go a
Mm.
long
Mhm.
way. And so sometimes not about, hey, how you doing? How you doing? When you visit a member in the hospital, you don't say how you doing. You say, how's
Yeah.
everything coming along? You know what I mean?
Ah.
Like you already know they're hurting. So you just want to know the progress of their healing. And then sometimes in the,
Wow. You
you
already
know,
know that they're hurting. You just want to know the
yeah,
progress of their healing. Yeah,
right.
gems, gems, gems. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Telling you.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, man. Come on with faith. How often you think you need to check in with faith?
As P was saying it, man, I think I check in with Faith like in a light kind of way a number of times during the week when she comes home. Like I remember early in our relationship, she was like, "You never asked me how my day was." I was
Wow.
like, "Okay, cool."
Mm,
So the next day come now, and I'm prepared to engage, bruh. Like have some conversation about how the day was, P. So I go
Yeah.
and I ask her now, "How was your day?" She's like, it was all right."
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
Wait,
I see.
hold up. You gave me all of that. And then, but what I realized is that she just wanted me to be ready, willing, and able.
Mhm.
That when I ask her to be prepared for the response to come, because there have been days where we went in off of how was your day. But if I'm checking in just to see where we are in terms of relate, and that helps. But for
Mhm.
me, like once every 3 months, or
Okay.
when something major happens, like a major.
Somebody just texted in from England and said that that's when the deep dive comes in.
Mm,
The deep
okay.
diver,
yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you one of the things that I can say this that I hope maybe she's not even watching right now with this one. I don't like confrontation, and in order to check in, Mike, there may be a level. It's always a level of confrontation. Confrontation is not a bad thing. It's an exposing thing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and sometimes I just like things when it's just cool. I know that. Wow, I almost said something. I know that crap ain't right, right? But you just want to talk about it. You're good, but you never know if something is going to fester, or if the grades are dropping, or if you're failing in this area. Or remember the old report cards, Phil and Mike, Quest, when it wasn't even an A, B, C, or D. It was I for improvement. You know what I'm saying? S for satisfactory. And God has
Yeah.
not called us to have a satisfactory marriage or relationship,
No, sir.
right? He has it. And he called us. Remember, before there was A, B, C, D, and whatever, A, B, C, D, and F, there was E for excellent,
Come on.
I improvement,
Come on.
S satisfactory, right?
I
Um,
I thought it was exceeding abundantly. Oh, my bad. My bad. I I thought so.
You got a
My
different
bad.
report card.
yeah,
My bad.
yeah.
My bad. My bad. My bad. My
I
bad.
had that Sea of Galilee port card.
Well, listen, God ain't looking for us to have an unsatisfactory. What He's looking for us is to grow, and sometimes I can say this: I'm grateful for uh, tough moments in my own life, which has started unscripted. To be able to hold each other accountable, to talk about whatever is on our hearts, and I'm gonna tell you again. I want to be that guy, right? When it comes to unscripted, like what we talk about, unscripted conversations, it reminds me of this, and we'll close off. One of the things that it hit me is that I used to love watching Mork and Mindy.
I love that show.
Man, I
Yeah.
loved it.
I quote
And
Mork and Mindy every day. Go ahead.
I hear you. I
I
hear
got a
you.
CPAP machine, so when I say good night, I say nanu nanu.
I want to tell you guys that one of the beautiful things about Mork and Mindy that I'm trying to develop in my own life is that after the end of the day, my man talks to Orson
Yep.
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
talks to him about what he's learned.
Yo, that's crazy. You remember his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
And,
crazy.
and when he talks to Orson, he's bringing up things like this is how humans are. And whatever the subject matter was, he will always go back and say what he has learned. I think that what's really helped me with what you said, Mike, what you said, Phil, and what you said, Quest, really helps me to say today, okay, I'm going back to Orson,
Yo,
Wendy.
that's crazy.
And when you go back to Orson, you simply say, yeah, I learned a couple of things. How am I communicating? Right? What would you rather, a shepherd or a priest? Um, or is my expectations too much, Mike, without a conversation? Are my expectations too much without a conversation? So I say to Orson tonight,
Gems.
thank you. Just simply thank you. Thank you for another level of recognizing that communication is key, intentionality is key, doing my homework is key. How about this? Just do a checkup on the homework. Do a checkup on the homework. And like Mike says, in communicating, don't communicate by yourself and think she heard it. you know. Um, hey, thanks for joining us, man, on Unscripted Conversations, man. I love to bother y'all again next week on Monday. I definitely do. And is there a doctor in the house? Yes, Phil. We know you're there. We know you're there. Hey, and Mike, thanks for waking up. I mean, waking up. I don't know what you did at the last minute, but your voice sounds like God. You know what I mean? So, so you guys have a good night. Say I'm gonna close off with Quest by ourselves. But Phil, peace out, Phil.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Mike. I'll see you back on the memes, Mike.
Come on.
All right.
Okay.
Come on.
Hey, Mike, take it easy, man. Thanks for
All right.
your 2 cents. It really matters. Thanks, man. Peace
No
out,
problem.
man. Hey,
Yo,
man. Thanks for just spending time. I know we went a little bit over tonight, man, but
P,
that was
that
was beautiful, man.
last piece. This is the reason why I live for these, man. That last piece you drop is priceless, man.
Yeah, got to go back to Orson and say this is what I've learned. Hey, man. Peace out, man. We'll talk soon.
Peace.
Peace, brother. Thanks for joining us on Unscripted.
That's it.
This tree is killing me. Hold that over there. Hold the tree is killing me. Right there.